Okay, so um good morning, grand rising, however you greet one another when you wake up in the morning. So last night I had a conversation with an individual that I had met recently. And they seemed like they pretty cool, pretty headstrong, have a good career. So we just so happen to be talking about dating like we was talking about dating in our previous relationship, and he was just saying how women expect certain things when they first meet a man, like paying for a $200-300 dinner and all these expectations. So I listened because I'm learning how to listen, and I'm learning how to listen not only to respond but to listen, register it, let it go through whatever, my ear, my brain, whatever, and then give an answer if I have an answer to give. So I can't regurgitate everything that was being said. So whatever. So I was telling him, okay, let's say he was like, and that's not even how you're supposed to date. You're supposed to do meet each other in a park and sit down and have a coffee and this, that, and the third. Now, to a degree, I agree with a little bit of what he said, because if you look at like movies, and when he was talking about that, it made me think of Back to the Future, like back in like the 40s and the 50s, how they used to treat the girl to a date and go to the local pop shop or whatever, have like ice cream and soda. Forgot what you call that shit, but you know what I'm talking about. But things have evolved and trends have changed since then. But that comes back to like having a conversation on the phone and finding out what that lady like and what you like and how y'all can both like satisfy each other on the first date. Because I do believe a man should plan the first date. And he was saying some other stuff too. I'm trying not to be boring, but also give y'all what we was talking about. Me personally, like after listening to what he's saying and him kind of like saying like sounding like so many other men, and I was like, well, if your bar is set this high, and not even this high, if your bar is set at a certain standard, meaning, okay, when I take a female out, I'm not going to Ruth Chris. I'm not going to the Cheesecake Factory. I'm not taking her out to no restaurant. The first place we're going is to the park. The first place we're going to is the Starbucks. The first place we're going to Paul's, if Paul's is still around. Paul's is one of those upscale Audubon Pan places. They got the little Danishes, they got all kinds of stuff. Because I used to work next door to a Paul's years ago. I just thought about it. There's nothing wrong with that. If your standard is, oh, I'm not taking no female out like that on no extravagant date, we're going to just chill, walk around the water, and there's nothing wrong with that, because it's a female out here like that who shares the same idea as you. But what I was saying, the problem that comes into play is that a lot of us, a lot of men, they eyeball a certain female, and when that certain female say, oh, I want to go to Ruth Chris. You know what I'm saying? That's where I want to go. And your pockets may say something different, or your feelings may say something different. And then she a funky ass bitch, she a gold digging ass bitch. And I learned recently from a white boy, gold diggers are women who dig for yachts and stuff, not asking for $150 or $200 meal. That's not being a gold digger. You just hungry and like quality food. Gold diggers go for trust funds, babies, and stuff like that. Not like that, but pressing on. If a female has a certain standard for herself, it's nothing wrong with that. If she only want to mess with niggas who got trust funds and yachts and other stuff that I don't know about because I haven't reached that certain level of wealth, there's nothing wrong with that. So don't knock no female because that's what she like. You got some men out here who like women who put out on the front date, on the first date. That's their business. Whatever you set the bar for yourself, that's what you that's just your that's not your identity, but that's who you are. That's what you like. That's your standard, that's your boundary, and it's not wrong with that. And I was explaining that to him last night. I was like, it's nothing wrong with how you feel. If you want the first date to be walking around the monument and y'all eating some $12 ice cream a piece, I was like, it's nothing wrong with that. But don't knock this female because she expect flowers on the first date. And that's another thing he was saying, flowers. I was like, what's wrong with buying like a $12 bouquet of flowers? He was like, but for what? I'm just meeting her. I was like, because it's just showing chivalry, it's just showing you being kind. And I said, for me personally, I like flowers on the first date. I said, most niggas gonna try to fuck on the first date, fuck you bed, fuck you then and there. And you are already, a man will already have that in his mind and try to take the short route. And it's like a lot coming to my head right now. A lot of men test boundaries. Okay, they'll talk like how he talking, but they'll test your boundaries. Like I'm like going back and forth. Like right now, like last night, he kept asking could he pull up on me. He was like, "Yeah, I could come and see how you doing right now." I said, "No, no, 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 no." And you know my famous line: "Ain't nothing open but legs and liquor stores right now." You think because we having a flowing conversation and this, that, and the third, that my boundaries is going to come down or my wall is going to come down. Ain't nothing. Oh, and that's the truth. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm not even trying to be mean. It's not even because I don't have my own place. I was like that when I had my own place. Didn't too many people know where I live at. For what? That's your house is your sanctuary. Your house is when you come in the house, you pop your bra, you like, ah, you get to pop your bottle of liquor, pop your bottle of wine, crack your Bible open, whatever gives you peace or whatever, that's your sanctuary, and shouldn't everybody know where you lay your head at? And I've always been like that ever since I was a youngin. Ever since I was a youngin. I might not have, you might not have known my name, or my name might have been like known in the streets, but I had good fucking sense from that day to this day. Don't a lot of people know where I lay my head at because it's not their business. But anyway, everybody get to set a standard for themselves, you know what I'm saying? So don't knock this pretty female with the long hair or the short hair or the bald head or whatever she got going for herself, because her outer appearance looks beautiful. But when she started talking, she's like, yeah, I like him with a yacht, I like him with a trust fund. You gotta make about 100,000 to sit with me. You can't sit over here. It might sound petty. It might sound superficial. It might sound all these different things, but that's what she like. You don't know her background. She might have came from a background like all they ate was oodles and noodles. She might came from a background like, damn, all I find is a bunch of broke ass men. And she like, I ain't rocking like that no more. You know what I'm saying? This is the gold standard for me. Or she might come from a background that all the men and women in her family made a substantial amount of money, and how she that's what she used to, versus maybe a hood broad who used to messing with like a corporate dude, messing with a hood dude or a geek dude. She's like that. She's very versed or whatever you want to call it. But we just out here trying to figure it out. I know me personally, I'm just out here trying to figure it out. I'm 43 years old, but even though you shouldn't be counting time and stuff like that, because time is infinite. And I do believe in what Prince said, you only have one birthday and one death day. The rest of that's why people age so quick. I'm just like, how old are you? I'm cool in whatever a smooth Erica Badu would say. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? When I pray, I ask God for wisdom. I ask him for strength. I ask him for me to be a great steward in all categories, all categories, to be very, just be good and, whatever. And what I don't know about, to shut up and sit there and listen. I learned that when I was a little girl. Talk what you know, and what you don't know, be quiet. That way you could be a listener and be a learner at the same time. But Slim seemed like he cool. You know what I'm saying? I had to text him the other day. I was like, you got a girlfriend? Because I noticed the only time we talk is when he at work. I noticed that with my I'm just being honest. I don't have no grudge against my ex, whatever. But I noticed the only time he talked to them other females was when he was at work, and he'd shoot them a text or two when he got home, and he used to sleep with his phone. underneath the pillow. At first, he used to sleep with his phone on the nightstand. Slim started sleeping with that joint underneath the pillow. I was like, oh, he's trying to keep her close to his heart. But nonetheless, I noticed the only time we really talk is when he at work. And then he was telling me about a situation he had with a girl he recently went out on a date with. He was like, he met her online and they was talking and they decided to hook up and meet each other just for a brief encounter. And then like the following day, he offered to take her to brunch. And somehow or another, I guess words got lost in translation. I'm sorry, words got lost in translation. And he met her at the breakfast spot, but he called her, she wasn't on her way or something like that, something of that nature. And I don't know, because you know how sometimes people be trying to hold back. And I learned that from my cousin. I called myself trying to ask her for advice on something, and the more questions she was asking me, it was like I was trying to be reserved. I really wasn't trying to answer them. She kept eating her food. My cousin, a smooth cat too, a smooth cat. She kept eating. She was like, if I keep asking you enough questions, I'll pull it out you. I'll pull it out you right then. Right then and there, I was like, I can learn from her. But that's how I felt last night, because I kept asking him questions. I was like, what exactly went wrong? Like, I'm not following. I'm not following. Like I said earlier on, I'm trying to listen, trying to really listen, not listen to only respond, because sometimes you do listen. The reason why you listening is to respond, but not just to respond. Sometimes you just need to listen. So I'm listening and I'm really just trying to like figure it out. But I don't know. It sounded like Shorty was on some other stuff. Like maybe she came up on a lick, you know what I'm saying? Because the way his photos is, and that's another thing. Yeah, I met him online. And that's another thing. When I'm looking at people online, you haven't heard of saying a picture is worth 1,000 words, even though people can set you up by their photos. But I'm the type of person, if I'm going through your photos and you know put a lazy ass profile picture, and the only thing you doing is standing outside the market or standing outside the house, and it looked like you just got finished smoking some weed, or you about to fit and you fitting, ask for a single, I delete, I block right then and there, so you don't even come back on my page. I look for substance when I'm going through men's profile. I look for substance. I look for how they talking and all of that. And if you ain't got no substance about you, about your pictures, like you got up this morning, you shaved, you shampooed your beard. Everybody don't need a Rick Ross joint. Some of y'all shit this. Y'all need to just go ahead and shave, but I need to know that you've been shaving and you got up all in that joint. Use your nails or use one of them brushes. You combed it. It's all right if it's a little coil, as we call it, nappy, beautiful naps. That's okay, but as long as it's clean and trimmed or whatever, I'm cool with that. But if you looking real lazy in your photo pictures, and if you ain't got no at least two pictures of you at somebody's beach or out the country with a suit on, just looking like real dapper or demure, whatever that girl came up with, you're not the man for me. Block, block. I don't even swipe to the X. Block, 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 block. I don't fuck with that. So I say all that to say that he looks very, very put together. You know, he looked like he looked like your little big boy, but that's all right. Because I remember years ago, honey, that's all I used to go for was big boys, because they like to eat. You know what I'm saying? All the big boys that I ever been with were very clean, very clean, very clean. Put their cologne on. They really cared about their appearance. Not only did I meet them out in public, I was able to see how they put themselves together behind the scenes. So for a very long time, it was like, yeah, I like big boys. You know, as long as you, my personal my personal preference, no disrespect, long as you ain't grotesque. I'm just being honest, just being honest. But yeah, and your weight go with your height. But anyway, he looked like he's well put together. But it was sounding like he was maybe disappointed or whatever, because you know energy speaks volumes. So I really can't even say what the girl did, because he was like, well, women. He was like, she said something about calling her up and letting her know that you're on the way, or whatever. I was like, well, it probably don't have to be that deep. But I was like, I know me personally. Let's say if we say we're going out next week. because next week is my birthday. I know between then and next week, we have created a schedule for one another. I'm pretty sure we talking every day on the phone. I'm pretty sure we texting every day. We doing one or the other every day. But and up to that day, if we don't communicate on that day, at least like how we usually communicate, and if we made plans to see each other, like let's say like 6 o'clock that evening, I do expect a phone call or a text or however we communicate. Hey, big head. Hey, love. Hey, beautiful. Hey, stinky butt. I'm on my way. Make sure you on your way too. I do expect some type of communication that day. You know what I'm saying? But um, it's been 15 minutes. Y'all listening? Y'all listening? It don't matter. Another thing I was like, the dating scene has changed so drastically. It has changed drastically. And I noticed that a teeny bit before COVID and right after COVID to present day, dating has changed so differently. I remember back in the day when I first started dating, I was in high school and it was so I want to use one of them big words or whatever, or words with substance. It was just so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Your boyfriend get their little money from their parent or whatever little paper route or whatever cut grass they cut, whatever they did, they get their little dough. And it wasn't a thing about a man paying for a date. It wasn't a thing of a man paying it for the restaurant or paying for the movies or just paying in general, because back in the day things were a lot cheaper. And if you had a drug boy, they was getting money. From what I heard, I never messed with a drug boy back in the day. I probably should have, a good one. But then I noticed a lot of drug boys have whoop a bitch syndrome too. But nonetheless, um, you know, it was a lot different there, and women expectations, I don't know if they have supersede nowadays, because nowadays they want you to get the nails done, they want you to get the hair done, they want you to do all these different things. And like I look at a lot of people on social media, Republican, Democrat, in between, gay, straight, because I like to get I don't like to be narrow minded. I want to see what you're thinking about, why you're thinking that, and like it might, whatever, what have you. So I like to get people's opinion. Damn, where was I going with that? My word, my brain is moving so fast. Um, I like to get different people perspectives, but things have changed since then. And yeah, 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 yeah. And we used to it. Like back in the day, like I was talking to somebody or I saw something on TV. Like back in the day, grandpa would be living right here and then having a husband, having a wife and kids over here. You know what I'm saying? And taking care of both households. You know what I'm saying? Off his little factory, off his little factory income and all of that. You know what I'm saying? He was able to hold the household down. But nowadays, who is this? I'm about to say, oh, I thought I was have to make somebody. But nowadays, even with the average man, let's say he making about 75,000. We're gonna give him 75,000. By the grace of God, he making 75,000, and that ain't even after taxes, honey. But whew, I digress. You gotta take in consideration that man gotta pay for condo, he gotta pay for car insurance. Most of them breeders nowadays, so he probably got about 2 or 3 kids, 4 or 5 baby mothers, maybe 2 or 3 of the baby mothers they get along with. The other ones they hooping and hollering, don't really get along. You know what I'm saying? The Irish man don't make 100,000, so he can't probably pay for a $200-300 meal, especially if he dating multiple women. And that's another thing he was saying last night. He was like, well, y'all get to date all these men and this, that, and the third. And see, part of me wanted to be a funky bitch. You know what I'm saying? Because I can be a funky bitch sometimes. I could be a selfish bitch sometimes. But I've seen what that has gotten me. So I was like, calm down. I was like, what that woman do is none of your business. Basically, you're right. You're right. A female can date 5 different niggas in that same week, possibly that same day, but worry about yourself. Worry about your standard. Worry about how you got your little check off list. That's why it's imperative to have a conversation with someone and just don't go off looks. Now, I know I haven't been listening to the Bible lately, and that's my fault. I can't even say I've been busy. I just ain't feel like been doing it. And God forgive me. Please forgive me. That's what happened to Samson, going off his looks. His parents was like, nah, fool with her, fool with this girl. He was like, nah, she got a big butt. Don't you know that song, Don't Fall for a Big Butt and a Smile? That's what Samson fell for. He fell for a big butt and a smile. And guess what happened? She plotted on him. She shaved his head, told the infiltrators how his power worked. Now, if Samson had just listened to his mama and his daddy and probably got the little petite joint, I don't know how she looked because I don't think they described the other woman, but he didn't want that other joint. He wanted to look. I have to be mindful how I use my words. He wanted the big butt girl, and the Bible is beautiful. They do call her like when they talk about certain women in the Bible, they talk about how big her breast was and her boobs, what her butt was. If I'm lying, let a Bible thump person say she talking about me. I'm lying. I ain't lying. Some books in the Bible, because it's 66 books. I heard it some more in the Vatican, but I don't know. Right now, I'm one of them special people. I was in special classes, so I got to concentrate on one thing at a time, baby. But certain parts of the Bible, they do describe how handsome he looked, how he lifted up the damn car, but they'll say some kind of tree that was back in the day. But I think that's the case with a lot of men. They let their eyes fool them when they know they should be with another joint. So, everybody got intuition. But I be all over the place. But I liked our conversation last night, and I liked the fact that I was being honest with myself while being honest with him. You know what I'm saying? Because once you start being honest with yourself and honest with people, you move a lot different. You ask certain questions. You got some people out here who can finesse and play both roles. I can't. I gotta stick to a lane. I'm not built that way, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I know other people who are built that way, who could play devil's advocate and cut the light on, cut the light off. I gotta stick to one script. I gotta stay in my lane. And so I did, all in all, I did like our conversation last night or what have you. But people just got to stay sticking in lane when they dating. Sit down and date yourself. Sit down and make out a list of what you want for yourself. And sometimes some people don't fit that. Like I was describing this guy I met not too long ago. He was real cool, real cool. Like he the one that locked my goddamn keys in my car, to be honest. So I couldn't get in my car. So he ended up having to call, the people to come out for my car, because my phone was in my car, my keys was in my car. He was busy trying to show me how to work my Apple Watch, and he closed the damn door. And I didn't think anything of it, because any other time my keys don't get locked in the car because I got the little fob joint. So he was nice. He paid for the people to come out and put the goddamn blood cup thing. You know how they pump your check your, I can't think of it right now. They put it in the goddamn door, pumped it. Took them every bit of 5 minutes, $90. But Slim paid for it. He paid for pretty much all our meals or what have you. But I didn't feel a connection. Like I could be a tad bit goofy, and I didn't really get that from him. Um what else? It was like he seemed like one of them people that you could be friends with, just friends with, nothing more, nothing less. And it seemed like he pretty much, we just wasn't equally yoked. We just wasn't on the same page. I wasn't vibing with him. Like I could come home and probably just throw, like I bought me 2 water guns. Only know one person in my head right now. I could pump both of them up and just pull up on him and toss him one. It's gonna be on and popping. He gonna drop his book bag on the ground. We're gonna chase each other. We're gonna talk again with him. It'd be like, well, why you get me wet? I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He don't strike me as that type. But I digress. It doesn't mean that he a bad guy. It's just that we're just not there. But back to Slim, he seemed like he cool. He seemed like he well put together. He seemed like he was holding back a little bit, telling me about the girl or what have you. or whatever. But I do not like it when, and see, that's quick to get you on my delete and block list. Do not ask to come and see me no fucking 10, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Hell fucking no. We're not gonna sit outside my house and talk. I'm not a teenage. I love a teenage love, but I'm not a teenager. You're not about to sit there and test my boundary and put your hand on my leg and say, okay, let me touch her leg. Let me rub my. No, we're not about to play them games. No. Like the other dude who invited me to come to the goddamn hotel because he had layover time. No, 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 no. You will not take advantage of me. And then I gotta explain to not even the police, but the people the police call. Well, why did you? When they what we train in doing, we try not to make the victim feel bad. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, that question is going to come up. Well, why you go there? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be who, what, when, why, how. But no, I'm a grown woman, and many years ago, I've gotten roughed up by making foolish decisions. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I know better. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long while, but I still remember. So when you know better, you do better. But I wish everybody luck on their dating journey or what have you and stuff like that. But Slim seemed like he okay. He seemed like he good. He seemed like he was a little hostile about how women get to date multiple men. I said, but y'all outnumber us too. At the end of the day, most time I think I am going to share a man because the way I see, and this is no shade, I see a lot of gay black men on my timeline and they already outnumber us. So if the black man already outnumber us and they gay, it's like the number is decreasing. Not only that, I have a few gay black male cousins and who I'm tight with one now. He tells me about how it be a whole rack of DL men within the metropolitan area. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, I had a hairstylist years ago talking about how husbands be married to their wives and their DL. And that was years ago when I had hair, baby. I don't have no hair now. I got a chia pet going on underneath here. But it's it's scary, at least for me out here, because I have nothing against nobody if they gay. They gay. I have like questions when they talk about they a girl and they really a man. You know, I'm like, I mean, like that's that shit to me is weird. I'm gonna be honest with you because it's all right to want to wear women's clothing, wear the nails. You know what I'm saying? That's your thing. But for you to get highly upset and be like, I was misgendered, like hold the fuck up. I ain't learned that on the fucking carpet when I was a little girl. We did not learn that shit on the motherfucking carpet. So I digress. You all who what the fuck they call, what you answer to. I don't want to get too much in that because then they be like, oh yeah, she hating. No, indeed. Because ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Hey, you might think I'm ugly, but hey, ain't nothing like the real thing. So I don't know. Sometimes I gotta break out a song, honey. But to each their own. It say in the Bible that you ain't supposed to judge folk. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to give them the information and move it along. And to me, not to me, sin is sin. You know what I'm saying? Whether you a man fucking having sex with another man, or a woman having sex with another woman, or a heterosexual having sex. They say it's better to get married than to burn. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. You know what I'm saying? We just out here learning. I'm out here having fun, enjoying myself, and learning at the same time. But that's it. You know what I'm saying? Slim seemed like he all right, but he is on a thin line of getting put on block. Cause last night I was like, oh, he texted me. No, he called me, but then he rushed me off the phone. I was like, oh, if you don't call me back tonight, he getting blocked. So he just so happened to call me, and we had a good old gay time on the phone, like the Flintstones. You have a gay old time. So it is what it is, honey. I ain't about to press nobody out. I'm sitting back and I'm making an observation. I'm looking at people and all of that. And that's one thing I learned about my ex, not my other ex, just just whatever. I'm talking about my ex that, has gone home to be with the ancestors. And he was good at reading people. And I remember one day, I'm gonna end this like this. I remember one day I was waiting for him to come home. I'm in the house cooking, you know what I'm saying? Because he stayed at my place. I had this when I had my own place. And he came in the door and I was like, "What's up?" He was like, "What's up?" I said, "I got a question for you." He was like, "What?" I liked his energy. He was just, that was my yin and my yang, man. And so anyway, and I had a pen and pad and everything. I said, "How do you read people?" So he started chuckling. He was like, "Summer, what you mean?" I said, "How do you read people?" I said, "Every time we somewhere, you just be just reading them." I'm like, "How you do that?" So he fixing his drink. He get his glass. He put his ice in the glass. He get his liquor. He get his orange juice. Shake the shit up. Then he got real like kind of stern. He was like, "You don't pay attention when you go places." I said, "I do pay attention." He said, "No, you do not. We just went such and such a, and the nigga right here and the nigga right here, and they doing this and doing that, and you just kiki." I was like, and he was like, "You just gotta pay attention." He was like, "But you gotta understand." He was like, "I'm a street dude." He was like, "I've been around all kinds of, niggas. You know what I'm saying? I've been around, niggas who go hard, killers, bum ass niggas, shasty ass niggas." I've been around all kinds of men. He was like, the same thing with the women. I've been around classy women. Been around bougie women. He was like, I just been around different people. And he was like, "You just gotta pay attention." I said, "That's it?" He's like, "Yeah, just pay attention." I mean, I had a pen and pad, thought I was gonna need the front, the back, and all of that. But he said, "Just pay attention." So the little things that he used to tell me about life and stuff, like how I used to catch attitudes at work and be like, "Well, I don't know why she don't like me. I ain't do nothing. I ain't do nothing." He just would give me his advice and just leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? He'd just give me a story, like his what happened to him and how he handled his situation. And it was like, basically, take with this information as you please. So yeah, he was definitely an earth angel. I miss him. I really do. And having people like that in your life make you want to just keep pushing. That's what makes me want to keep pushing. Him and my daddy and my uncle that passed away a year ago in August. That's what helps me keep pushing, because I know if God created them, he created more men like them. So that's what helps me keep going, because my ex was definitely an earth angel. My daddy was an earth angel. My uncle was an earth angel. Even though I didn't come around like that as I got older with my uncle. And I appreciate now him and my aunt coming to pick me up on the weekends, because that's a long ass commute. And guess what? They picked me up just about every weekend, and then I spent every summer with them. That's a hell of an commute. But they did it every day to go back and forth to work, and they did it on the weekends to pick me up and drop me back off, and didn't ask nobody for no money, for no tolls. That's when you had to roll your window down, throw the quarters in the bin, before they came up with this easy pass and all these punk ass cameras everywhere where they scan your tags and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I digress. But when you come encounter with good people, that's at least that's what gives me fuel to be like, go on a little bit more, because even though I done came into counter with 10 suckers, I know about two good people. I don't know if you catch my drift. But I know I got off subject with the whole dating thing. Good luck to y'all in dating, you know what I'm saying? But basically, love yourself, know yourself, and know what you're looking for. When you know yourself and love yourself and know what you're looking for, you're gonna either find it, or it's either gonna find you. It's when we start to compromise our self-worth, because damn he cute. Damn he got some good dick. Damn he got money. But he's abusive physically. He's abusive mentally. Um, he a scam artist. He got whoop a bitch syndrome. I thought he had a 9 to 5, but he be scamming people to get their money. You know what I'm saying? You catch my drift. But yeah, if ain't nobody tell you they love you today, I love you, and make it a great day. All right, and my birthday next week. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. It's my birthday.